The night stretched before me like an endless abyss as I embarked on a long drive across the desolate countryside. The moon hung high, casting an eerie glow on the deserted road ahead. Despite the darkness that enveloped me, the solitude of the open road beckoned me, promising a peaceful journey. Little did I know that this drive would become a nightmare etched into the deepest recesses of my mind. As I cruised down the highway, the rhythmic hum of the engine and the comforting sound of my favorite music filled the car. The road seemed to stretch on forever, each mile blending into the next. But as time passed, an unsettling feeling settled upon me. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, and an unexplainable unease tingled at the back of my neck. Glancing at the rearview mirror, I caught a glimpse of a pair of gleaming eyes, reflecting the faint light of my taillights. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly dismissed it as a trick of the imagination, a figment of exhaustion and the darkness playing tricks on my mind. But as the miles rolled on, the feeling of being watched persisted. Unease turned into paranoia, and my gaze darted from side to side, searching for any signs of danger. The road seemed to twist and turn in unpredictable ways, its once familiar path transforming into an enigmatic labyrinth. Panic set in, urging me to find an exit from this waking nightmare. That's when I noticed it, a solitary figure standing on the side of the road, a hitchhiker. My foot instinctively eased off the gas pedal as compassion overpowered my growing fear. I pulled over, my heart pounding in my chest, and rolled down the window just enough to hear the stranger's voice. "Please," the hitchhiker's voice carried on the wind, a haunting whisper that sent a chill down my spine. "I need a ride. I've been walking for hours." Reluctantly, I unlocked the car doors and the figure climbed into the back seat. As the door closed, an icy breeze swept through the vehicle, and a sense of dread settled in the pit of my stomach. I glanced at the rearview mirror, but the stranger's face remained hidden in darkness. Nervously, I resumed driving, each passing mile feeling heavier than the last. The hitchhiker's presence seemed to loom in the car, his silence suffocating. The music on the radio turned into an indistinguishable cacophony, adding to the growing tension that permeated the air. I stole a quick glance at the hitchhiker through the mirror, but he was no longer in the back seat. My heart skipped a beat and I swerved the car, struggling to regain control. The road ahead transformed into a twisted, nightmarish path, its edges fading into an impenetrable black void. Fear consumed me, and I pressed the gas pedal, desperate to escape this malevolent presence. But no matter how fast I drove, the road stretched on, as if mocking my futile attempts to outrun the horrors that haunted me. My surroundings became a blur, my vision clouded by a maddening mix of confusion and terror. Suddenly, a blinding light pierced through the darkness, momentarily blinding me. The car screeched to a halt, and I found myself in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by a dense forest that seemed to encroach on the road. The hitchhiker sat beside me, his malevolent gaze fixed upon me. His voice, devoid of humanity, filled the car. "You can't escape," he whispered, the words seeping into my soul. "You're trapped in this eternal drive, forever haunted by the choices you've made." As the hitchhiker's laughter filled the air, I desperately fumbled for the car keys, my hands trembling. I fought against the paralyzing fear, determined to break free from this nightmarish cycle. With a final burst of courage, I flung the car door open and stumbled out into the darkness. But as I stood on the road, gasping for breath, I realized that I was back where I had started. The road extended before me, an infinite loop that mocked my futile attempts at escape. The hitchhiker's laughter echoed through the night, a haunting reminder of the eternal torment that awaited me. And so, dear reader, heed my warning. Beware the allure of the night road. For once you step onto that path, there may be no escape. The endless road holds secrets that can drive you to the brink of madness, trapping you in a nightmare from which you can never wake. The city streets glowed under the moon's pale light as I embarked on another night of driving rideshare. The familiar scent of leather filled the car as I navigated the dimly lit roads. There was a certain allure to the night, an excitement tinged with the unknown. Little did I know that this particular night would take me on a harrowing journey into the depths of terror. As the requests poured in, I picked up one passenger after another, exchanging brief pleasantries and navigating the city's labyrinthine streets. But as the clock struck midnight, an eerie quiet settled over the city. The streets grew desolate, the buildings casting long shadows that seemed to whisper secrets to those who dared listen. A new request popped up on my screen, a passenger waiting in the heart of the city's oldest district. A chill ran down my spine, a foreboding sense of unease tugging at the edges of my consciousness. Ignoring the warning signs, I accepted the ride and made my way towards the destination. As I pulled up to the designated location, I couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. The street was shrouded in darkness, the buildings looming like sentinels from a bygone era. My passenger materialized from the shadows, a figure cloaked in a heavy coat, their face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. The passenger slid into the back seat, the silence hanging heavy between us. Their voice was a mere whisper as they provided the address, a remote location on the outskirts of the city. My heart skipped a beat, a voice in the back of my mind urging me to decline, to turn away from the unknown. But curiosity overpowered caution and I began the journey. As we left the city behind, the road grew narrower and winding. The dense forest encroached upon us, casting an impenetrable darkness. Unease settled upon me, the silence broken only by the soft hum of the engine. The passenger's presence felt palpable, an unnameable tension suffusing the air. A sudden movement caught my eye, a flicker of movement in the rearview mirror. I glanced back but saw nothing amiss. Doubt crept into my mind, uncertainty mingling with fear. I could sense the passenger's gaze upon me, their presence enveloping the car like a suffocating fog. The passenger's voice broke the silence, its tone filled with an unsettling confidence. They spoke of forgotten tales, of spirits and curses that haunted the night. The words sent a chill down my spine, a realization that I had stepped into a realm far beyond my understanding. The road grew treacherous, the asphalt cracked and overgrown. Shadows danced along the edges, their forms shifting and contorting. Panic welled within me as I fought to maintain control, but it was as if the very fabric of reality was slipping away. A sudden jolt jolted the car, wrenching the steering wheel from my grasp. I struggled to regain control, but an invisible force tugged at the vehicle, dragging it off the road and into a sinister clearing. The car came to a halt, surrounded by a darkness so profound that it seemed to devour the world around us. The passenger's voice took on an otherworldly quality, its words filled with malice and ancient knowledge. They revealed the truth. The clearing was a gateway to a realm of nightmares, a place where lost souls wandered and malevolent spirits thrived. They spoke of an entity that hungered for souls, waiting to claim its next victim. Fear consumed me, and I tried to escape, but the car refused to budge. The passenger's figure grew hazy, their form shifting and distorting. I pleaded for release, but their laughter filled the air, a haunting melody that sent shivers down my spine. As the laughter subsided, a presence manifested outside the car, a monstrous creature, its eyes glowing with an insatiable hunger. It lunged towards me, its razor-sharp claws scraping against the metal. I screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. Just as the creature was about to claim me, a blinding light pierced through the night, banishing the darkness. The passenger's form dissolved, dissipating into nothingness. The creature recoiled, its snarls replaced by agonized wails. I found myself back in the city, the car parked in front of a familiar landmark. The first rays of dawn illuminated the streets, a stark contrast to the horrors I had just faced. Trembling, I stumbled out of the car, gasping for breath, grateful to have escaped the clutches of the supernatural. The memories of that night haunted me, etching themselves into my mind, a chilling reminder of the unseen dangers that lurk in the shadows. The passenger had taken me on a journey beyond the realms of the known, into a world of darkness and despair. And I, dear reader, emerged from that nightmarish ordeal to share this cautionary tale. Beware the night drives that lead you into the unknown, for the passengers you encounter may not be of this world. The night loomed over the empty highway as I embarked on a long drive, the solitude of the road stretching out before me. The headlights cut through the darkness, revealing a narrow path that seemed to disappear into the abyss. Little did I know that this journey would become a terrifying descent into the unknown. As the miles rolled by, a sense of unease settled within me. The road seemed to twist and turn, its path shifting and contorting like a living entity. Shadows danced at the periphery of my vision, their fleeting forms playing tricks on my tired mind. But I pressed on, determined to reach my destination. The monotony of the drive was broken by a sudden flicker, a street sign that appeared out of nowhere. Its words were indecipherable, as if written in a language from a forgotten realm. Confusion gripped me, but curiosity urged me to continue, to explore this enigmatic stretch of road. I followed the sign's arrow, my grip on the steering wheel tightening. The highway transformed, its once familiar surroundings giving way to an unfamiliar landscape. The air grew heavy, suffused with an unnatural stillness that weighed upon me. Dread settled in the pit of my stomach, warning me of the horrors that awaited. As I drove deeper into the night, the road became treacherous, a winding path that seemed to defy logic. The headlights barely pierced the oppressive darkness, their feeble glow swallowed by the void. Fear clutched at my heart, urging me to turn back. But it was as if the road itself had entrapped me, leading me further into its malevolent embrace. Suddenly, a figure materialized in the middle of the road, a specter with hollow eyes and tattered clothing. My foot instinctively slammed on the brakes, the screeching tires filling the night air. But the figure remained unmoving, a silent sentinel that blocked my path. Panic surged through me as I sat in the stillness, my breath caught in my throat. The figure stepped closer, its presence suffused with an otherworldly aura. Its voice, devoid of humanity, echoed in my mind, promising unimaginable horrors that awaited beyond this forsaken stretch of road. With a surge of courage, I maneuvered the car around the figure, determined to escape its grip. But as I sped away, the road twisted and turned, trapping me in an inescapable loop. Each attempt to flee only brought me back to the same point, as if the highway mocked my futile efforts. Darkness encroached upon me, swirling and enveloping the car. The air grew thick, suffocating, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. Whispers echoed through the abyss, their words incomprehensible but laced with malevolence. Shadows clawed at the edges of my vision, threatening to drag me into their insidious depths. Desperation consumed me as I fought against the maddening cycle, searching for an exit that seemed forever out of reach. The road taunted me, its endless stretch a cruel reminder of my own helplessness. Madness gnawed at the edges of my sanity, threatening to devour me whole. Just when all hope seemed lost, a faint light flickered in the distance, a beacon of salvation in the black expanse. With a surge of determination, I drove towards it, each mile bringing me closer to the glimmer of hope. The light grew brighter, its warmth breaking through the suffocating darkness. As I emerged from the nightmarish highway, I found myself back on a familiar road, surrounded by the comforting glow of streetlights. The weight of the ordeal lifted from my shoulders, replaced by an indescribable relief. The world returned to its normalcy, as if the horrors I had faced were nothing but a figment of my imagination. But the memories remained, a chilling reminder of the perils that lurk in the depths of the night. The lost highway had taken me on a journey into the abyss, testing the limits of my sanity. And I, dear reader, emerged from that harrowing experience to share this cautionary tale. Beware the allure of the dark roads at night, for they may lead you down a path from which there is no return. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Subscribe now for weekly scares. Hit that red button and join our journey into the unknown.